Dr. S.P. Majumdar, founder and president of Symbiosis and Chancellor, Symbiosis International Deemed University. Dr. Vidya, Pro Vice Chancellor, Symbiosis, and Chancellor, Symbiosis International Deemed University. Dr. Sandeep Vastlekar Ji, President of Strategic Foresight Group. Mr. Pankaj Singh, Director, Department of Youth Affairs. Mr. Anmol Sovit, Chair, Y20 India. Dr. Rajni Gupte Ji, Vice Chancellor, Symbiosis. Youth representatives, entrepreneurs, delegates, and friends from media. Namaskar, a very good morning to all of you. I'm delighted to be here in Pune, a city known for its thriving manufacturing industry that is home to some of the world's largest automobile, engineering, and electronic companies. Moreover, Pune's reputation as the cultural capital of Maharashtra and a leading education hub cannot be overstated. And I'm glad to say that we have representation of more than 44 countries, and we have 97 students from those 44 countries present here. Let us put our hands together and welcome them here. And we also have the winner of 36 such events happened across Maharashtra, 72 students from various parts of Maharashtra who have come here. I welcome you all and thank you for being here. So with over 10 universities and 100 institutes, this city has been a beacon of knowledge and culture for generations, attracting students and scholars from around the world. Being here among the enthusiastic, creative, and talented youth fills me with a sense of pride and joy. Institutions like Symbiosis, whose foundation is laid by Dr. Majumdar. So institutions like these, which are providing quality educations to thousands and thousands of students from across the country and from across the globe. There couldn't be a better place to organize this event in this part of the country. Thank you, Vidyaji, for allowing us and you being the host for this Y20 event. So institutions like Symbiosis are one of the finest in the country, which sows the seeds of change and also nurture. To all the youth who are present here today, I'm not going to call you what Sandeep ji has said, the future of tomorrow. Young people are equal stakeholders in the present. You are the builders of better tomorrow. Your role is today, now and here. And look around you. Today, India is making headlines across the world for being the world's fastest growing, largest economy. And look back at 2014, where India was rated among the fragile 5 economies of the world, from fragile 5 to first 5 economies of the world. From ranking 3rd globally in terms of startups, with over 77,000 startups and more than 107 unicorns today. I still remember when Prime Minister Modi called me and Nirmala ji when I was Minister of State for Finance and said, we have to help these youngsters who have started these startups, whether with the incentives to the ease of doing business and others. Look at the vision of Prime Minister Modi and the hard work of our youth. In just a span of 8 years, India has become the 3rd largest startup ecosystem in the world today. From being the first responder to a humanitarian crisis anywhere in the world, I still remember when Sushma ji started the mother thing. It was for the NRIs who lived overseas, how they can be helped. But if you look back, few years back, India was a recipient, मदद मांगने वालों में से था, आज भारत मदद देने वालों में बन गया है, ये बड़ा अंतर आया है. If you look at the crisis in Nepal, earthquake crisis, or if you look at the crisis in Turkey or Syria, India was the first responder. That is the change we see today. Vasudev Kutumbakam, Dr. Mujumdar has rightly selected the motto for this educational institute. Sandeep ji was saying how we can fulfill this Vasudev Kutumbakam. Sandeep ji, I mean, if you look at the crisis which the humanity, especially our generation, has faced in the last couple of years, the COVID-19 pandemic, even when the developed countries shirked away from their responsibilities and they was not ready to come forward and help, it was India. On one hand, we have administered more than 2.2 billion vaccines free of cost in India, at the same time provided medicines and vaccine to more than 150 countries across the world. So, from humanitarian crisis to the crisis, at one time we were the second largest importer of the mobile phones, and today we can proudly say in 5 years, India has become the second largest manufacturers of the mobile phones in the world. For having the largest number of female commercial pilots in the world, for providing free food to more than 800 million Indians in the last 2.5 years, for its ambitious climate actions, energy transition efforts and use of renewables, for attracting huge foreign direct investment from 162 countries across 61 sectors, for its citizens and diaspora heading global Fortune 500 companies. This is all about where India is making news. For its healthcare innovations, wellness measures, spirituality, yoga and Ayush. For its phenomenal films, the way RRR is making news, regional content, which is no more regional, it has become global today. That is the power of films in India now and the power of Indian film content. Rich music, wholesome culture. The world is looking at us with great admiration, aspiration, and anticipation. The world is wondering what is this powerhouse of more than 700 million youth will achieve next. Whether it is the social media-led social causes or $1 billion startups, India's youth is leading from the front. The path-breaking stories of Indian youth serves an inspiration to people all over the world to follow their passions and make a positive impact in their respective fields. India's hosting of this prestigious G20, it's a great honor for us to have the G20 presidency, and it's a privilege for me and my department also to host the prestigious Y20 summit as well. This presents an extraordinary opportunity to engage the collective efforts of the world's youth on issues and concerns that matter to them the most. The Y20 summit provides a unique platform for young minds to share their vision, values, and ideas and collectively develop solutions and recommendations that will be submitted to the G20 leadership. India's role in this summit is not limited to speaking. It also aims to provide a space for youth to be heard and participate actively in shaping the global agenda. And for that, the Y20 Summit 2023 has identified 5 key themes that will serve as guiding light for our youth. These themes have been carefully selected to empower young people to create, collaborate, and contribute to the G20's development agenda and the global community as a whole. These priority areas of the Y20 summit point to the urgency with which this world has to reconcile with the reality of the changing times in our quest to survive and thrive. Today's consultation is centered on the theme peace building and reconciliation, ushering in an era of no war. Dr. Sandeep ji has already given his words of wisdom, thrown some light on that topic. There are many ways in which you can view this. The lens you apply and the vantage point from which you view this issue will determine how India responds in the decades ahead. These themes hold great significance when the world is currently grappling with complex challenges, whether it is the ongoing conflict between two countries in one part of the world, the far-reaching impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, the recent offensive by the Taliban in 2021, or the persistent political and economic instability. These issues has raised concerns about regional and global security and highlight the urgent need for effective collaboration and coordinated action to address these pressing issues. Now, while talking, Dr. Sandeep talked about multilateralism. Well, Dr. Saab, on one hand, at WTO, when we see this multilateralism is, nobody is supporting that cause in a big way, the big developed countries who have taken the advantage of it for last so many years. You rightly touched upon that point. Especially this post-COVID-19 pandemic era, we really need to talk about these institutions, multilateral approach as well, and how this could be more useful to the globe, not for few countries. That is very, very important. And the need for peace and reconciliation has never been more apparent as we strive towards a world where warfare is no longer a viable choice. India has been a believer in a culture that promotes dialogue, development, and diplomacy. And even when two countries are at war, Prime Minister Modi very categorically said, this is not the time for war. Diplomacy, discussion, and dialogue is the way forward. And that is the way forward. And that is the message from India. And India's diplomatic approach, rooted in the concept of Vasudev Kutumbakam, or the world is one family, is characterized by ahimsa. Diplomacy and diplomatic outreach has broken away from the shackles of the Cold War era. Today, India decides the position of its national interest. It speaks eye to eye and negotiates from a position of strength. मैं कई बार देखता हूँ मीडिया में कुछ लोग कहते हैं कि वो बड़ा देश का दबाव होगा तो ऐसा हो रहा है. वो समय चला गया. अब ना भारत आंखें झुकाकर बात करता है, ना आंखें उठाकर बात करता है. भारत आंखों में आंखें मिलाकर बात करता है. दुनिया का कोई भी देश हो, कोई भी विषय हो, ये नए भारत में ये भारत का नया नेतृत्व जो आपके एक एक वोट के कारण मिला है, ये नए भारत को एक सशक्त भारत बना रहा है. और इस अमृत काल की यात्रा में मैं कह सकता हूं, हम अमृत काल से स्वर्णिम काल की ओर जा रहे हैं. उसमें आपकी भागीदारी सबसे ज्यादा सुनिश्चित करनी जरूरी है. Further, India has played an active role in promoting peace and reconciliation on the global stage. We have been a strong advocate for disarmament and non-proliferation and have contributed to the UN peacekeeping efforts around the world. The future of the world depends on our actions today, and therefore, it is important to reflect on questions that define peace in the 21st century. we must also break away from the traditional notions of peace and war. There continues to be a physical or traditional warfare, aided by tanks, air missiles, and drones. And one of the hypersonic missiles you talked about, I'll go beyond that, Dr. Saab. There is also an information warfare. In the age of an infodemic where technology is both enabler but also divisive as well as intrusive. There is also noise and clutter, which is leading to a war within our bodies and an unhealthy lifestyle leading loss of mental peace. And that is the most important part. Mental peace is very, very important. Me and Dr. Vidya were talking about the mental health issue on the way, that post-COVID, how mental health issue is becoming such an important topic today across the world. But at the same time, when we talk about the mental peace, it can be from an individual where you have a mental peace to a family peace, society peace, state peace to the global peace. So it starts with the peace of, with a mental peace, it will start. And with this age of infodemic, why I'm saying age of infodemic, because more than pandemic, it was infodemic. Because spreading of lies, misinformation and all led to loss of thousands and thousands of lives across the world. So at times we have to see whether the technology is an enabler or it is doing harm to us if we are not using it in the right way. So I would like to leave you with few thoughts. Is the absence of a border-related war the true meaning of era of peace, or is there more to it? How will we tackle the war of words on social media, the noise, the clutter that is disrupting our social media space? In fact, is the nature of the platform such that it feeds these algorithms such content when posted? How will you meet the challenges faced by lifestyle choices that have unleashed a war on your health? How will you reclaim your peace, space, and sense of happiness in an age where we are constantly connected and even disrupted by the technology? How will we respond to global emergencies? Will we beat the repercussions of climate change and food scarcity on a war footing? As we look to land on the moon again and Mars one day, how will we as civilization respond to injustice beyond our borders on this planet? Will we look away to find peace or promote the values we believe in? Is peace just a symbol? Is it the absence of violence? And what makes a society, community, and nation peaceful? I leave you with these questions with the hope that further discussions and active involvement of the young minds present here, you will arrive at a deeper understanding of the challenges we face as a society, as a humanity, and the ways to resolve them at the Y20 Discussions Forum. Going beyond the topic of today's topic, I'll just take 2-3 more minutes because India is also celebrating the 75 years of independence, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. And Prime Minister Modi has talked about the 5 resolves during his 15th August speech from the Red Fort. मैं तो आपको केवल याद करवाने आया हूं कि अमृतकाल में हमारे युवाओं की भूमिका भी क्या है, और विशेष तौर पर हिंदी में इसीलिए इसको बोल रहा हूं क्योंकि आपसे जुड़ा हुआ है। और जब मैंने कहा कि आप वर्तमान भी हैं, भविष्य को गढ़ने वाले भी आप ही हैं, तो अमृत महोत्सव मनाते हुए पंच प्रण को याद करना बहुत आवश्यक है, क्योंकि पहला प्रण विकसित भारत के निर्माण का है। हमें भारत को विकसित भारत बनाना है। दूसरा प्रण अपने गौरवशाली इतिहास पर गर्व करना है, अपने गौरवशाली विरासत को बचाना और आगे बढ़ाना है। अपनी कला, संस्कृति, साहित्य को दुनिया भर को और दुनिया भर से जोड़ना, उनको दिखाने का काम भी करना है। आस्था के केंद्रों के साथ साथ आधारभूत ढांचा बनाकर अर्थव्यवस्था के केंद्र भी बनाना है। तीसरा, गुलामी की सोच, उस मानसिकता से बाहर निकलना है। 75 वर्ष हो गए आजाद हुए, गुलामी की मानसिकता के साथ आगे नहीं बढ़ पाएंगे। नई सोच इस नए भारत को एक विकसित और सशक्त भारत बनाने में बहुत लाभदायक सिद्ध होगी। चौथा प्रण, एकता और एकजुटता। हम अलग अलग जाति, धर्म, संप्रदाय के अलग अलग भाषाओं को बोलने वाले लोग हैं, लेकिन विविधता में एकता ही इस भारत की सबसे बड़ी ताकत है। और मैं चाहता हूं इस एकता और एकजुटता को बनाए रखने के लिए आज के युवा को मिलजुल कर आगे आना होगा। और पांचवा प्रण, हर नागरिक को अपना कर्तव्य पालन करना। अगर कोई भी ऐसा क्षेत्र जहां बदलाव देखना चाहते हैं, तो बदलाव का शुरुआत आपसे क्यों ना हो। अगर हम चाहते हैं शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में बदलाव हो, तो क्यों ना आप अपने जीवन के अगले 25 वर्ष उस विषय को समर्पित करें जहां पर आप बदलाव देखना चाहते हैं। पर्यावरण में बदलाव देखना चाहते हैं, पानी के संरक्षण में बदलाव देखना चाहते हैं, स्वास्थ्य के क्षेत्र में बदलाव देखना चाहते हैं। जैसे एक छोटी सी सोच देखने में छोटी लगती है, लेकिन डॉक्टर मजूमदार को लगा कि दुनिया के किसी हिस्से से एक व्यक्ति आया, जॉन्डिस भारत में हुआ। जो सरकार को देखने का, यूनिवर्सिटी को, फर्गुसन कॉलेज को देखने का काम था, उसके बजाय एक दूरदृष्टि वाले व्यक्ति ने उसको देखा और एक ऐसी ग्रुप का गठन, एक सोसाइटी का गठन किया, एक ऐसा पौधा लगाया जिसके पीछे सोच एक ईमानदारी वाली थी, एक वासुदेव कुटुंब वाली सोच थी। तो आज वो पौधा वट वृक्ष के रूप में बनकर खड़ा हुआ है। तो कहीं ना कहीं आप भी अपना नागरिकों का कर्तव्य पालन करते हुए किसी एक क्षेत्र में जब आप काम करेंगे, तो आप देखिए, आप 25 वर्षों में देखेंगे बहुत बड़ा बदलाव आएगा। और अगर 140 करोड़ भारतीयों में अगर मैं 70 करोड़ युवाओं की बात कर रहा हूं और अमृत काल से स्वर्णिम काल की इस यात्रा की बात कर रहा हूं, तो आपकी भागीदारी के बिना वो अधूरी है। ये देश हमारा है, हम सबको जान से प्यारा है। हम लोग बात तो करते हैं बलिदान देने वालों की, बलिदान बहुत सारे नौजवानों ने दे दिया, देश के लिए शहीद हो गए, फांसी के फंदे भी चूम लिए, गोली भी खा ली, लेकिन उनका बलिदान व्यर्थ नहीं जाना चाहिए। आपको बलिदान देने की जरूरत नहीं, आप अपना योगदान देने के लिए तैयार हो जाइए। आपका योगदान ही देश के लिए बहुत होगा। और मैं आशा करता हूं ये योगदान बहुत पीसफुल सोसाइटी को बनाकर, हम जिस सोच को लेकर आगे बढ़े हैं उसको आगे बढ़ाते हुए अपने भारत को आगे लेकर जाएंगे। और जो स्वामी विवेकानंद जी का सपना था कि 21वीं शताब्दी भारत की हो, मैं जैसे जैसे एक एक करके, कहते ना आपकी आंखों के आगे से पर्दे हट रहे हैं एक एक करके, पिछले कुछ वर्षों में जितनी तेजी से बदलाव होते हुए देखा है, केवल अर्थव्यवस्था की दृष्टि से नहीं, पूरी दुनिया में भारत के नेतृत्व को मानने की जो एक शुरुआत हुई है, आज दुनिया भारत की ओर एक उम्मीद के रूप में देख रही है। World see hope in India, in India's leadership today. So we have to live up to the expectations. And I'm sure the youth of today is ready to deliver, ready to contribute, and to make India a global powerhouse today. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.